Should be going live here in just a moment. And then we can get into the stream once it says everything is up and running as it should be in terms of volume. How good is that? That's pretty good. You guys are going to be able to hear me no problem. So it does say we are in fact live. Give me a second so I can move over the mouse pad. So we're going to be doing a few things today. We're going to be obviously building a new gun. We're going to start from scratch and work our way through it. Give me one moment. So I'm gonna, James, I will get to you in just a moment. I'm gonna preface the stream with what we're building. I've talked about this person before on stream, in particular, my MSR build that I did while I was still in high school, way back in 2015. I talked about this guy. Dat Lady plays. See you too, John. See you guys as well. I talked about this guy named Shockwave. He was a DeviantArt poster, and he does custom gun concepts using Pimp My Gun as the base, and then he kind of goes through and photoshops and touches everything up and things like that. So I've been going through his profile, kind of looking at the guns and stuff that he does. There's one right here, but the one that I wanted to do today is going to be a little bit on the easier side because this stream is mainly going to be for me to be able to talk to you guys. So this is what we're going to be doing today. This is called the Marjory, I believe. It might be Marjory. I have no idea. It is a battle rifle in 7.62 by 51, kind of based off of the SCAR platform, except there's a few different slight differences, things like that. But I do like the design of it, and overall, it's a very streamlined battle rifle, and it even says that in the description down here. And I'm going to go ahead and read the description of this weapon just for the not the lulz, but like to kind of promote this guy. This guy is a DeviantArt poster. On his name is Shockwave 9001. So I guess you could say he's over 9,000. So for all of those of you in chat that want some illegal memes, there you go. It says, this ergonomic and streamlined battle rifle is perfectly suitable for operators and sport shooters alike. She is reliable, lightweight, and dead accurate. Chambered in the battle-proven 7.62 by 51mm NATO round, this beautiful beast packs a real punch. On fully automatic, it rocks a steady fire rate of 650 rounds per minute, giving the user the ability to control the recoil remarkably well. Quicksilver Industries produces top-of-the-line firearms made for easy and cheap mass production while maintaining very high quality. Our firearms will always be fully ambidextrous, two-toned, operator-friendly, and accessory-friendly as well. So, right off the bat, that description tells me quite a few things. Hey, future idiots, you get and chat as well. The gun is fully ambidextrous. That means the shell ejection port is going to be on both sides. The charging handle is going to be on both sides. Your ambidextrous fire selector is going to be on both sides, obviously. And then your magazine release is going to be on both sides as well. So that will give me quite a hint for that portion of it. The other kind of hint that I'm getting from it is that it's accessory friendly as well. So I see that there's a top rail system on it, but I don't see a bottom rail and I don't see side rails. But what I do see is these two holes right here. And the reason that there are two holes right here, that tells me that that's a place where you can mount a 1913 rail system. So you could do it on the side here, and though I can't see the bottom, I bet there's some that are on the bottom that you can do that with as well. So that will be something that I have to look into doing. Shell ejection port is going to be on both sides. Pretty standard stuff. It's obviously built off of the SCAR platform, so you can see kind of like the SCAR upper receiver in there. I'm going to go ahead and build a completely new SCAR upper receiver because I've been using the same one forever now, and it's going to have to be married to this lower receiver, which is going to get kind of complex. And I apologize to you guys because with how complex it's going to get, it might hurt some of you, and I know for a fact it's going to hurt me. Let me answer this text message. Alright, so that is the gun that we are going to make. That is that portion down. I'm going to put my phone on charge, and then we're going to get into building. I go to say that the lower receiver is what we're going to start with. I usually start with grips on models. I'll be completely honest with you guys, but I don't think it'll be appropriate to start with the grip on this model. I think what's going to be a appropriate place to start would be with our magwell and designing it and itself. Havochead, I see you in chat right now as well. I have been busy with life, which is something that we're going to talk about if I can get my phone plugged in. So we're going to go ahead and start on this build and work our way through the pain and suffering that is going to be this model right now. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how I'm going to make this angle here. I have a basic idea of how I could do it, but I don't know if it's going to work entirely. So we're going to attempt a few things and we'll see how it goes, and we'll continue with life from there as well. So it's going to be a... Let's go ahead and make it a 8 stud long magazine, just for the lulz. And yeah, so this is a 10, so we have a 1, a space, the 1 to do some other stuff. So yeah, so I have been away for quite a while now in terms of the YouTube space. I have not been uploading regularly like I used to, and it's kind of weird for me to not to, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. It's been hectic lately. I've been doing a lot of things that they're just, it gets busy, and when it gets busy around, you can't ignore certain things. So we'll start off. My work schedule is fairly standard for the most part. Like the only, I don't have a full-time job, which is a good thing. I do in fact have a part-time job, which entails I shouldn't be working 40-hour work weeks, but I do work 20-hour work weeks. And with 30 first and second graders, it gets very, very time consuming to do everything and anything with the children because they want to go do particular things outside. And then if we're doing stuff outside, there's some days where they're good outside and we don't have problems. And then there's other days where there's just all sorts of horrible, horrible problems that I cannot ignore and that I have to deal with. And that stresses me out. And when I come home, I really don't want to do anything else other than play video games or something like that. So because of that, and the fact that this is not going to work, this won't actually clip on this piece in real life. Not even, it's close, but it's not close enough. For the sake of continuing and finishing this, I'm going to go ahead and say that that would work in real life. You're just going to have the minor adjustment in real life for it to work fully, but we'll say that it works for now. And because I get stressed and all I want to do is play video games and things like that, I don't have time to make YouTube videos for you guys, which is that's sad on my part, but at the same time, y'all gonna have to respect how I do my job and how I work and different things like that, because that is a thing. I do in fact work. I am a human being. I do have to have a job to continue to live in this world. Because if you don't have a job, you'll come to find out you can't do much of anything. You can't do what you want to do. I am currently 19. I would like to continue to go out and do stuff with people and my girlfriend and different things like that. So I I prefer having the ability to do so, which entails I have to have the money to do so, and that money comes from my job. So yeah. Any weird stories from work? Yes, actually, there are all sorts of different weird stories from work that I could tell you guys. At the same time, there's all sorts of stories from work that I cannot tell you guys. There is quite a few dramatic stories that I don't think are the best to tell you guys about because I don't know if that's in the best interest of the company that I work for. Um, Obviously, like I don't particularly care, and I tell you guys in a heartbeat if I could, but I don't know if I have the legal right to do so. I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. So just kind of I can go down the list. Um, James will start off my segue into some of the stories. What gets hectic at work? So I'm going to go with what happened yesterday. This happened yesterday with a second grader who is currently 7 years old. That's all the information that you're going to get about him. He is a boy. Um, Yesterday, we're outside, we're playing, we're having a good time before the rain rolls in. The AC just kicked on. I apologize with um, that noise in the background. Anywho, before the rain comes in, we're outside. We're trying to have a good time, trying to get people to enjoy themselves outside and things like that. Um, it's not in particular because we think they should be outside, you know, doing things like that whole hour a day active thing. We don't particularly usually do, but we do go outside often so that we're outside. So we're outside, we're playing around. Everything that I just said is kind of behind the point. And one of my particularly good students that I will admit I do play favoritism with because she's actually a good student comes up to me and she goes, "Mr. Phillip, so and so just punched me in the throat and then called me stupid." And I'm not gonna lie, it slightly upset me that a female in particular came up to me and straight up tells me um, that he just came up to her and punches her in the throat of all places, and then calls her stupid. And I don't understand why you would think it would be okay to walk up to any person, for that matter, in particular a woman, punch her in the throat and then call her stupid. And then when I ask you, right, okay, so that happens and I have to do something about it now. So I walk over and I ask him, "Hey, do you mind coming and sitting down and sitting out for a while because you just punched her in the throat? That's against policy as an environment, I guess you could say. I'm going to have to ask you to come sit down now so that you can think about what you've done." And he had a rubber ball that you kind of bounce on the ground and a foam football in his hand as well. He proceeded to throw both of those at me, like actually throw them at me. I'm not going to lie, the first one took the breath out of me. I was not expecting it. It hit me, and then there was this brief moment where I was like, I don't know what just happened. My brain hadn't clicked the fact that he had just thrown uh, his objects at me, that he was holding his ball at me. And after throwing them at me, he comes over and picks up the balls again after throwing them at me because he threw both of them. He throws them at me again, picks them back up and throws them at me again. The third time was so hard that they bounced far away to the point where he couldn't pick them back up. So because he couldn't pick them back up, he resorted to slapping me on the stomach. I'm pretty sure he was trying to actually punch me, but I'm guessing he's just so small that he can't actually punch me. So it was just kind of one of those moments where I really had to restrain myself. I had a kid that was this young sitting here hitting me because he did something that he wasn't supposed to do. And I'm simply asking him to sit down and he refuses to do so because of whatever reason. I don't know if that's I don't know why. I honestly don't know why he refuses to sit down. When I was growing up, if someone asked me to sit down, I sat down. I listened to authority. So after hitting me, I looked up to one of my coworkers, and she's dealt with him before. And I called her name, and the second I called her name, he goes, "No, I don't want to go over to her." And I was like, "Okay, then you're going to come inside with me so that we can go down to the front office and we can talk to my boss about this because I find it very, very disrespectful that you think it's okay to hit me, like put your hands on me, because that is not okay." And he goes, "No, I'm not coming down to the office." And I go, "Okay, no problem, because my boss has legs that God gave him that he will gladly use to come out here. So I can just go inside and I'll bring my boss out here, and then you're going to have to deal with him that way. And I promise you, if he has to come out here, he's not going to be happy. So you might as well just go inside with me so you don't have to like deal with that." And he still refused at that point. And then I went inside, told my boss. Boss comes out, handles it after that, basically. Um, the stream does freeze off and on. Um, I don't know what's up with that. I don't particularly know. Also, yesterday I had a very, very difficult situation to witness. We were inside. Um, we just came back in from being outside. That same student that hit me and was laying his hands on me and things like that. Earlier in the day, he had taken another child's planner and had ripped 2 pages out of it. And I told my boss about it. My boss goes, "No problem. When the parent gets here, I'll talk to the parent about it," things like that. Well, that parent arrives and my boss sits her down in the inside where we all are and is explaining to her what had happened and different things like that. And she got very, very upset. And I'm talking, she was raising her voice beyond a level that I felt appropriate for the situation. Um, it got to the point where I asked my kids to stay away from her. I straight up said, "Guys, don't go over there. That conversation is none of your business. I'm pretty sure if she sees you, she's just going to get even more upset. Stay away from her. Let my boss deal with it, and we'll go from there at the end of the day." I do not work at a school. I work at a church. I work in the after-school program for a church. So I do not work in actual like a public school or anything like that. Um, and she's raising her voice to the point where she's now shouting uh, at a volume level that I would find that I would have basically asked her to leave at the volume level that she had taken it to. Obviously, I'm not the one who ultimately has that decision or that authority, so I couldn't do that, but I would have done that. Um, and it got to this point where we have because it's a church, we have screens in the front and the back of the sanctuary, which is our inside portion, that we can use to put on uh, like Let's Dance, which is a video game where the kids can play or they could dance to burn off some of their energy because they're excited or whatever during the day. So we're sitting in the sound booth where you have all the controls for that. And I don't know what's up with stream. Is it still going? See, it says it's still going, but it's not like going on my like desktop. Okay, now it's going again. We're sitting in the sound booth that controls all the audio levels and things like that, and we're slowly turning it up more and more because her voice is getting louder and louder, and we really don't want it getting out there to anyone, if that makes any sense. We don't want it to scare anyone because it got that loud. Um, and she was there for a solid 30 minutes going back and forth with my boss about how the child who did this to her has constantly been a problem to her son. She wants them separated or some other type of action to be done and different things like that. And mad respect to my boss because that woman's son is not the best of people either. I've had multiple problems with him as well, which is unfortunate, but it happens. So my boss was really tempted to tell her straight up, like, hey, even though this kid did this to your son, this is what your son does throughout the entire day to everyone else. That, uh, as you can see, doesn't, you know, make him the best of kids either. So you can yell at this one kid all you want, but you need to take a look at your son before you start yelling at all these other kids. Um, so different things like that. She went back and forth for 30 minutes, like I said. They finally kind of cleared up what they were thinking, and she finally moved out of the sanctuary and went home, is what I'm assuming she did after that. I don't particularly know if she went home or not. I don't know if she went down to the front office to complain to the front office as if they were going to do anything or not. But she did leave after that, from what I know. Um, wow, this is really bad. So I don't know if um, my Wi-Fi on my desktop is so bad that my stream just constantly cuts in and out on my desktop, or if it's just strictly I don't know what's up with it. I honestly don't. But you guys haven't said anything in chat, so we're just gonna roll with it. I don't. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna see what's going on. Whatever. I don't care. Um, any other interesting stories that I have from work? Um, trying to think of some. Uh, I hear all sorts of different crazy things all the time. The number one, like, most popular thing to color in church, because there are kids, so they do enjoy coloring, is Pokemon. And okay, James says they're not having any problems with the stream. Andrew says he's not having problems with the stream. Thank you guys. That really helps with my feedback. It probably just the Wi-Fi on my desktop then. Um, and I'm old enough to the point where I understand that this Pokemon's name is Pikachu. Um, but we have certain kids who will come up to us and they'll be like, "Hey, can you print out Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch?" And we're like, "Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch? Who's Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch?" And they're like, that pink one, um, Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch." And we're still staring at them like we have no idea what you're talking about, Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch. Like you're not making any sense to us. And then I'll pull out my Pokédex app that I have on my phone. Yes, I am that big of a nerd that I have a Pokédex app on my phone. And I'll go through it with them until we get down to Skitty, and they'll be like, "That one." And I'm like, "You mean Skitty then?" And they're like, "No, Kitty Kitty Scratch Scratch." And it's one of those moments where you're just like, you know, I feel like I should be constantly correcting you every single day, but it's really funny, so I don't feel like it at the same time. Um, Another popular name is for Zernies, that X and Y legendary, the deer looking one, is Rami, not Zernies, just Rami. I don't know. I guess it's because it has horns on it. I don't particularly know why Rami is the best of words for it, but I guess it just is. Um, wow. So a magazine release goes right here. So I gotta figure out a different way to connect this to that. Wow, that is complicated. Trying to think of some more stories that I could tell you guys. I don't. It's hard to think of some off the top of my head. Um, yeah, that's only one portion of my life. The stream is more or less going to be about like updates that are going on with my life as well. So I wanted to also talk about a few updates happening with me. Um, College is currently going on right now. I am a full-time college student on top of being a full-time YouTuber. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. I will not lie to you guys. There have been multiple times where I've thought about dropping one or the other to pursue one or the other full-time without the stresses of the other one. Um, but I don't think I will ultimately end up doing that because I don't think it's the best of choices to do that. So uh, don't worry about that happening um, at all because I don't think it. Uh, I don't think it will. Um, so college stories. College is going pretty good right now. We have 4 classes going on right now. My first and most easy class to talk about is college trigonometry. College trigonometry, I'll be honest, pretty easy stuff. It's all stuff that I did in pre-calculus in high school, which mad props to my pre-calculus teacher in high school because when he said he was going to prepare me for college, I honestly didn't believe him. I was like, man, you're so full of shit. You're not going to prepare me for the world. You're not going to prepare me for anything. You're just lying to yourself to make yourself feel better, things like that. Not at all. I've gotten by the past 4 units, the 4 chapters, I should say, in college trigonometry because that one particular teacher really knew what he was doing. And, I honestly did not believe him at the time. But it's obvious that he honest to gosh knew what he was doing. Because if I still remember what he taught me and I'm using it to get by what I currently have right now, we're we're pretty set in terms of everything. To be honest, I'm pretty impressed. So uh, yeah, yeah. I got to think about how I'm gonna do this because this is kind of complicated. So you push in on this, and this is just gonna release the magazine like it normally would. But there's also something that has to be done where if you push in on this side, it kind of pivots around a certain point. Um, and that would be better. And then obviously this can stick out as much as it wants because that'll be a good spot to put the rubber band or the spring that will actuate this mechanism. I just I've done this before using brick built methods, like not the YouTuber brick built, but like actual bricks to do this. Um, I just don't know if I can do it again. So what I'm thinking we can do, we're gonna set up a pivot point for the other magazine release to pivot around this. We're going to set up a, we'll go 4 out to there, and then we'll proceed to kind of work this up as much as we need to. So, yes. What am I studying in college? I am currently enrolled as an engineering major, but I believe I will be changing that over to a communications major. Um, in order to graduate from my current institution, I have to have 4 semesters worth of pre-analytical, or I'm sorry, calculus with pre-analytical geometry. I have to have 2 semesters of um, physics, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not prepared to do that. I don't think I have what's necessary to pass those courses, um, and I'll readily admit that, which sets me above other people. And I'd rather not waste money on doing things like that, only to find out that I can't do them at all, because that would not be good. So yes, yeah. So we talked about college trigonometry. I'm prepared for that, doing very, very well in that course currently. Um, I'm also taking, what's the order that I want to go in? What's the order that would be most entertaining to all of you? Um, I go to say the next class that we should talk about is probably my philosophy class. I am going through philosophy. I feel as if I don't necessarily need to take philosophy, but I do feel that it's important to take philosophy. The reason I feel that it's important to take philosophy is because even though a lot of people think philosophy destroys who you are as a human being and it makes you question your beliefs, because I am a religious person, I believe that it will help me in the long run come to understand different portions of the world that I might not understand. I might learn a thing or two about how to debate with people. I might learn a thing or two about how to. Um, um, yeah, I just got completely derailed on what I was talking about. I might just kind of figure out how to do different things. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought on that particular subject, so I do apologize for that, guys. I want to learn programming, 3D modeling, and animating. I just love video games, and I hope I can make a career out of it. Luckily, I have a very good community college, so I can switch majors if it doesn't work out. James, study what you want to study. There are very, very few people in this world that go into college knowing what they want to do. So, man, more power to you. If that's what you want to do, go do it. Um, so, community college, don't think it's as bad as what it sounds. The college that I currently attend was at one point in time a community college, and then it turned into a, um, I don't want to say state sponsor, but it turned into a bigger college. It turned into an actual like state college, I guess would be the word to use, um, where it's actually like recognized by uh, the world as a college that is now, in fact, good to attend. I go to Valencia College. I'm not going to tell you which campus, which was at one time a community college that had a very bad rep because it's like the cheap place to go to. You get a horrible education there, different things like that. The good news is it's not like that anymore. It's a very, very good college to attend now. So, um, yeah. How big is this piece? This is a 2. I'm thinking we can step this up to a 3, actually. So this is kind of a complex mechanism. We're going to be talking about it for a little bit. If I can figure out how I'm going to end this portion of it. So give me one moment, guys, and then we will talk about how everything works here. This piece here in particular is a 2, and this is a, so if we bump this up to like a 5, um, and I know that for a fact that this isn't actually connected, but because there's going to be a wall on this side and a wall on this side, it can't leave where it's at, so it doesn't have to be officially connected, so we're not going to worry about that. Again, this is for the rubber band that's going to be on this side. There's going to be another rubber band kind of wrapped around this, and then this piece right here, which I'm going to now change to being a tower of these in particular, just so we can get that rubber band wrapped around there. That will keep this retained right up against this, which will help hold it in place essentially, so that it doesn't fall out. So now I want to talk about sociology, or I'm sorry. Now, I don't have any real stories from philosophy. I didn't finish my stories about philosophy. Other than I can't read the philosophy teacher. I'm actually having a very, very difficult time reading my philosophy teacher. I'm usually pretty okay in reading how people think or feel about certain subjects or actions or different things like that. Except I can't read my philosophy teacher. I have no idea what he thinks to be right, what he thinks to be true. And I understand that that's the mark of a good philosophy teacher. But at the same time, it kind of bothers me. I don't know if what I say offends him. I don't know if what I say makes him happy. I don't know if the thing that I put in my essay will make him happy or not. I don't know, and that bothers me because you'll learn that in college you're supposed to write for the professor. You're not supposed to write for yourself. But I don't know how that. So I just can't. I don't. It's hard to be completely honest. So yeah. Um, Now we're going to be talking about sociology. I'm going to tell you now. I understand that most people in my chat are pretty um, relaxed people, I guess is the word that I will use. They don't mind having a laugh or two. They don't mind, joking around and having fun. I will tell you now that to some people, what I'm about to say will utterly offend them, and they will be genuinely disgusted with you if you ever said something like this. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, with fair warning, do not say anything like this in any form of environment, whether it be college, high school, middle school, elementary school, or for the British people out there, your equivalents, or if you're in some other country, your other equivalents. In sociology, we are told that we are supposed to respect one another's opinions and different perspectives, that some of us were born in very different backgrounds, that we all need to come together and agree with that if we are purposely trying to hurt someone, it is very rude, very frowned upon, different things like that. So we went in with the class with that understanding, and we are currently having, I guess you could say, a battle with that understanding as well. So I go in for sociology every Tuesday, Thursday. Currently, class is canceled for this week because of a hurricane that you guys may or may not know about. I do live in Florida. The hurricane is about to hit us. It's going to hit us tomorrow, in fact. So just be aware, guys, if I disappear for a very long point of time, I died in the hurricane. My apologies. I'm sorry that I left you guys with not every model complete that I wanted to work on. Any hoot. It's besides the point. We're sitting in class yesterday. We're talking about a different unit. Something happens, and the teacher goes off on this very, very crazy tangent about, I guess, one of her friends who is Scottish or something like that. That like drinks or something, like something very, very just out there that all of us were kind of like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking about this? Things like that. And the people that I sit with have a kind of a sense of humor, and just kind of as a joke, they asked if she was redheaded, because most Scottish or Irish people, whichever we were talking about, uh, supposedly, because I'm not going to say it's true, I'm not going to say it's false, statistically speaking, that country has the most amount of redheads in the world possible. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's false. All I know is that the second they said that, or the second that they asked if she was redhead, id, and then the second that they asked if she had a higher tolerance to alcohol, uh, the teacher went fucking ballistic. I'm talking about, you know how people on the internet will say like triggered and different things like that, just to kind of like joke around, have fun, different things like that. This is one of those moments where she legitimately got triggered, and my group of friends was sitting there like dumbfounded about how triggered she got over this. Um, the majority of us were sitting there like, the reason you're upset is dumb, and what you're saying about it is even dumber. Um, the first thing she says to us is, "That's racist. You can't say stuff like that." And she starts continuing on with this. She's like, "That's racist." I'll try to paraphrase as much as possible. It's not going to be verbatim, so don't take the words out of context or anything like that. She goes, "That's racist. You can't say things like that. It's very obvious that what you're trying to do is hurt other people, and you're trying to make them feel bad about themselves. And if you can't ask yourself and tell yourself these simple questions like, am I about to offend someone? Am I going to hurt someone? Then you shouldn't be saying those types of things at all." And it's so irritating that you guys are so ignorant to the ways of the world that you can just say things like that and not care about how other people feel, especially if they said something to you and you be just as offended as those people are right now in the world, because what you're saying is very, very inconsiderate. And I'll tell you right now that this is bullshit. And she straight up said bullshit too, by the way. And she's from Jamaica, so she threw some Jamaica accent in on top of it, which kind of made us all chuckle a little bit more because it was pretty funny. We're not gonna lie. Like I found it pretty funny that she threw in some Jamaican accent into it, and different things like that. And she kept going on and on and on about how we were being disrespectful and we were hurting how people feel, um, that what we were doing was rude, that we need to think about what we say before we say it. She kept going and going and going. And all of us are sitting there like, man, we really don't give a fuck. She got so upset over something so simple that she went on a rant in front of class about it. And usually I can take a full page of notes in sociology about whatever topic we're talking about that day. But that particular day yesterday, I only got through half a page of notes because she went on such a long tangent about something that did not need to be talked about because it was a simple joke that it just kind of spiraled out of control from there, I guess is the best way. And it felt pointless to me because we honestly didn't need to talk about that. Um, so what my teacher said bitch before, things like that. Usually I'm not adverse to teachers cursing. I'm actually fairly used to teachers cursing and I curse all the time as well. So cursing doesn't offend me. What I found very interesting is that this teacher usually doesn't curse. I found this teacher to be very, the best word would be professional. Up until this point, I've now come to understand that she's not the most professional of people, and her true colors have shown. She is. I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to upset someone in chat later on who watches it or something like that. She's a feminazi. Um, I honestly didn't think that it was possible for a college environment to have someone like this, but it is. Um, she is a straight up feminazi. There have been multiple times where she's told us that we need to respect others' opinions and we need to watch what we say because it offends people. But she'll straight up and turn around and not respect what we say simply because it's offensive. So I don't like to play that um, hypocritical bullshit. It's not okay for that to happen. And I find it funny because her getting triggered chain triggered the rest of the class. And I'm not joking. I know you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about when I say chain triggered. And I had no idea that this was an actual thing until I saw it happen right in front of my eyes. Chain triggered is the process that someone is so triggered and they're so upset that they trigger everyone else around them. I honestly did not know that it was possible to do this. I thought that there was only one person that could get triggered, and the other person would get triggered on their own accord if they heard the same thing that triggered the other person. No. The class was completely fine in what my two friends asked her. And then after that, when she started talking, the rest of the class kind of jumped in on this triggered bandwagon and got even more triggered about it. It was one of the most eye-opening experiences I've ever had in my life. I did not know it was possible, but it is. Um, we've had a few other run-ins with the sociology teacher before. Um, I have a black friend in that class who wears goggles, is what he calls them. Those are his words. I just call them glasses, to be completely honest, but he calls them goggles, so I'm going to use his word. And they are 360 wraparound prescription glasses um, that he wears with a headband around his head. He wears a hat every day because he does not like to show his hair, which I can respect. It's whatever. That's his choice. I'm going to let him be him. I'm not going to infringe upon that. Well, we come in for class one day and he's wearing his glasses and his hat. and it cast a certain shadow over his face that I'm guessing she found to be uh, not okay, because she straight up told him that he needed to find a different pair of glasses to wear, that he could never wear those in her class again. Which, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but prescription glasses cost a fortune. And he's not about to go out and buy a completely different pair of prescription glasses because one teacher has a problem with how it casts, or how his hat cast a shadow over his eyes. Um, so, you know, us being friends, or like our group of friends being in there, we immediately jump to his aid. He doesn't need aid, don't get me wrong, but we immediately come to, like, why? We question her, like, why does he need to get glasses? And she proceeds to tell us the reason he needs to get glasses is because it's a safety issue that she can't see his face, and if something were to happen, she doesn't know how to report it to the proper authorities. Let me translate to you guys what she said, because you probably don't understand what she said. She's basically, what she said is that because she can't see his face, if someone shoots up the school and it's him, she can't say anything about what he looks like because she's never seen his face before. That's what she said to him, essentially. That was the translation. That was the way that it said it. Give me a second. I'm answering this text. Oh, I gotta check kick. Okay. Anywho, um, so she gets upset that we're questioning her. She believes that she has the ultimate authority in the class and that we shouldn't be questioning her authority. And yes, she is liberal. And the unfortunate part is, I know many liberal people that would tell this bitch to go suck a dick because she's being dumb as fuck right now. My girlfriend in particular. Anywho, it goes back and forth. She even asks me, because I questioned her the most, to stay after class so that she can talk to me about how I am being disrespectful to her and how I shouldn't question her ultimate authority, essentially, is the conversation that came out of it ultimately. So, to me, I stopped. I didn't um, ask her anything after that. I haven't said anything offensive after that point in time. I've also haven't said anything offensive because I made a deal with my girlfriend that if I don't say anything offensive in that class, I get benefits. Uh, Not in any of the ways that you guys are thinking. Please don't think that way. Um, Anywho, I haven't said anything since that time. We've been a little bit better. We had gotten together the next morning for the class, the day after we had that altercation about his glasses, and we were talking some mad shit in the hallway. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. We were talking that good shit in that hallway. We were straight up like, man, she's such a bitch. Like, she thinks that she can just control every portion of our life, um, even though she has no authority. I don't see the problem with these glasses. All they are is glasses. Um, we were going on and on and on and on and on and things like that. When she came down the hall, she obviously overheard us because we were talking loud on purpose because we wanted her to hear. In particular, just because she's a bitch and she deserves to hear. And if you're gonna talk shit, you talk shit to their face because I ain't no fucking bitch. And as she walks by, she goes, "If you have something to say it to my face." And all of us kind of look at her and we're like, okay, what you said to Ronnie was wrong. They are a pair of prescription sunglasses. It's not that big of a deal. You basically called him a school shooter, which is very offensive. And you shouldn't do things like that. You need to like check what you just assume about someone just because you can't see their face. Uh, yeah. So yeah, um, we've talked about the Irish statement that we made in that class. We've also talked about the altercation that she had with the black boy about his glasses and how they were inappropriate for the college setting, in particular because they were very uh, concealing of his face and his persona as a chance. So with that, we're going to go on to a happier note. We're going to go on to my final class that I'm taking this semester. We're going to go on to English. We're going to be talking about ENC 1102, otherwise known as English Composition 2. Um, yeah. I have a very good relationship with my English composition teacher. He is by far something that I did not expect from an English composition teacher. He was a Marine for the majority of his life, but he's the most soft spoken person I've ever met in my life. I The first time he told me that he was a Marine, I gave him this look of bewilderment like I've never given anyone else before. I honestly did not believe him when he told me that he was a Marine because he he doesn't act like it. The stereotypical view, and I did say stereotype because it is a stereotype of a Marine to me, is someone who comes in yelling 24/7 and is ready to beat your ass the second you step out of line. Curses like a sailor as much as I do, probably even more than I do, and just goes for it. Like keeps going all day long, nothing but cursing, things like that. He's not like that. He's pretty much the opposite of that. And when I found that out, that hit me deep within in terms of I should probably change my perspective and my stereotypes and the framework that I have about certain individuals simply because of their occupation that they've had before their current one. Uh, because I came in with the wrong expectations, and when I found out that's not who he was, it was a shock to me, and things like that. So, got to change up my perspective from that. Going to try to do that as soon as possible. So, that's how I met him. Um, and I got quite a few stories from him. He's an excellent teacher. He definitely deserves a 5-star rating on Rate My Professor. For those of you going into college, the greatest and best website that you will ever use in your life. Write this shit down right now because you'll need it. Rate My Professor. Google search it. Save it into your favorites. Rate My Professor is a website that we college students use to rate professors. It's in the title, Rate My Professor. You go on there, You type in a professor's name and what school they're from or whatevs, and then the website's going to bring back results and reviews that students who have had that professor before have put up on the website. I.e., what I mean, you're going to get a feel for how that professor is going to act and treat you in class before you commit to taking that class. It's a good thing. You want to use this website. You have no idea how many times I have blindly selected a teacher and thought and just assumed that I would be fine going into college. It's not true. Don't believe it. Use Rate My Professor to choose before you sign up for that class, because it will save your life and you will love me forever if you sign up for it. So sign up for it. Or like go Google search it and use it is what I'm saying. Yeah, I got off topic a little bit right there. I apologize for that. So we're talking about some different stories. We are doing a poetry section where we have to go out and define specific poetry and things like that. And as a class, we are teaching it to everyone. We're not, the professor isn't standing up in front of us teaching it. We have to go out, research it, and then we have to group present it as a group to the rest of the class and teach it to them. So one of the poetry groups had to present what is called closed form poetry. Closed form poetry is essentially just I'll explain the magazine release design here in a moment. Just give me a second. Closed form poetry is just a branch of poetry where basically it means that everything you write has rules behind it, rules and meaning. And those rules and meaning have to be in your poetry that you're writing. It can't be absent, it has to be there. The group who presented the closed form poetry assignment had a really cool class activity where they passed out 8 by 12 sheets of paper that were blank, and they had the class stand up with those 8 by 12 sheets of paper and write out the word closed form poetry, right? One of the kids who had one of the sheets, when she sat down with it, she passed it over to the professor and goes, "Here, this L is for you," like a loss, essentially. Like, you know how it is nowadays. Like when you take an L, you take that loss, basically. He's straight up. He gets up out of his chair. He walks over to the person who has the F paper, picks it up, walks back over, sets it on the desk in front of her and goes, "This is for you." Holds out his pen, drops it, sits back down, and then asks the next group to present. And all of us in class were like, damn. Straight fucking savage. Like, could you imagine that shit? Like, fuck. That was horrible. Like, I felt it, like, deep down in my soul. I was like, fuck. Ouch, that hurts. Like, that hurts me. Um, so yeah, that's that. That was that story. Uh, he's got a very, very good sense of humor. I'm really happy with his sense of humor because it makes me. and it makes me have a good time in this class. I don't have to worry about certain things that I say. I can joke with him back and forth, and he'll joke with me back and forth, different things like that. It feels good to be able to do that type of stuff. Marjory battle rifle. Lower receiver. Or it goes rough and then etched. So Alex, someone asked me to do explain how this magazine release works, so we're gonna go ahead and explain how this works. I colored it in 2 different portions just for this reason. I had to think of the word. So if we go back to the description of the battle rifle, it says Quicksilver Industries produces, or all right, wrong one. Oh no, not wrong one. Quicksilver Industries produces top-of-the-line firearms made for easy and cheap mass production while maintaining very high quality. Our firearms will always be fully ambidextrous, two-toned, operator-friendly, and accessory-friendly. So this ambidextrous part right here tells me that even though I see a magazine release on this side, there's got to be a magazine release on the other side. And because there's got to be a magazine release on the other side, I'm going to assume that it works essentially the same way that the ACR's magazine release works as well, where you push on this section like a normal AR-15, and you push on this section like a normal AR-15 as well. So when you push on this section over, this portion here is pushing on this, and this portion here is pushing on this. That's why this piece is here. But they're not connected. You can see that. This portion is going to be held on by a rubber band wrapped around this post here. Just so you guys know. It's going to be from around this thing, around this little lip right here. That's a Christopher Hotman method. Credit for him for that idea. It's going to wrap around there, right? Whenever you push on this portion back here, this little section that sticks out, right, is going to be the magazine release. When you push on this, it's going to not be able to go through this straight back and forth. It has to pivot around this cylinder, which is why it's a cylinder. And because this piece is on the side that it's on, it can't go this way. It has to pivot this way. Because it has to pivot this way, the end of this bar comes out this way. That's a very complex way of explaining it, but I'll tell you right now, the idea of whom I've gotten it from is Alan's Custom Lego. His ACR used essentially the same method. I've obviously adapted it for this and trying to make it work here better. But if you want to see someone who has design and has perfected the design, he's the one that had the design originally. He's the one that I'm using the design from. It's not his design completely because he never put out instructions for that model, but it's his design nonetheless. So brick builds. If you want to look this guy's DeviantArt up, this guy is Shockwave 9001. If you want to look him up, he's got a fairly awesome Flickr full of custom guns they're really cool. This is just one that I wanted to do because it's a SCAR, so it's going to be a relatively simply. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot English. It's going to be a relatively simple thing to do, and because it's a relatively simple thing to do, I'm just going to be able to kind of come in and out of the build. I don't have to think about the build too much. I can kind of talk to you guys about what's going on in life. I've already gone through some work stories. I've already done some of my college stories because I'm a full-time college student, so I've been able to talk about that as well. Um, and now I'm pretty much out of stories. So now I can kind of pay attention to chat just a little bit more because I know I have been ignoring chat just a little bit. I apologize for that, guys. That's my fault in particular. How did I get that angle on the bottom of the magwell? Sorry if you already explained it. I'm late to the stream. Do not worry about it. If I need to explain things as I go, I don't mind explaining them again. Anything to help out the community. There's this strategy that I saw somewhere, and I can't remember where, but I think I said where in my Atlas 45 video because I used the same method on the Atlas 45. There's a certain thing that you can do using these pieces, and then you kind of like build it out a certain amount, and then you come down here and grab, where are they at? I scrolled past them. Like these, and then there's another portion up here that's only like 2, and then you take and put a plate piece like that there, and you kind of put this there, and then you can, hopefully this works. I don't know if this is the right increments. Yeah, you can pull this up like that and you have an angle. There's a place where I saw someone use that technique. I used the same technique on my Atlas 45 magazine. And for like the base portion of it to get it to angle into the magwell. I used this idea there. And then what I did was I took and I adapted that idea to be used here just a little bit differently. You can see right here, these two things right here are the hinge pieces. So there's 2 on each side that connected to the magwell. On the front here, they have like bars that go through all the way up to the front. And you have your clip pieces, and the clip pieces are supposed to fold up and grab into the other portion of the clip piece up here. But I can't do that with LDD, obviously. In terms of what's on the other side of this, pretty much nothing actually, because it doesn't fit perfectly through here. Like even these pieces, they don't fit perfectly. There's always like a gap between them, as you can see. Even like the longest slope possible, which is the 4, doesn't fit anywhere in it. So because of that, we have to use these bracket pieces on the outside right here that just clip on the bottom, and that will cover up the entire hole as well. And that will leave us with a good looking magazine. It's got the slant to it that makes it look good. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to show you guys something that I've had for a long time that I've never done a video on, just to kind of point out that I've done this before, but I've never, ever shown you guys. I also want to give a shout out after I point this out. So we are going to go down to the CZ Bryn 805. Note that this was added May 25th, 2015 is when I started with this method. So if any of you say that I'm copying the person that I'm going to shout out for this, it's not true. I added this folder in May of 2015. I've had this for a very, very long time. So yes, do not think that I'm copying someone. This is my CZ Bryn 805. It is a very, very old model. It is a model that I have not finished. The receiver down here is pretty much done for the most part. The upper receiver is done as well. The barrel is done, but I don't have a stock on it because the stock is a little bit difficult unless I want to kind of cheat and just use an M4 buffer tube and then an M4 stock, which I really don't want to do, but I can do. But in particular, you can see that this magwell down here is a 3-stud wide magwell, and it uses the same method that I was just talking about, just a little bit differently. This one uses these pieces here, and then in order to get those side plates on, what I did was use these pieces for the top ones, everything that I just hid, and then these bracket pieces for the bottom ones. And that's how that came together. So that was a very, very, very old model that came out in 2015. Or didn't come out because I never released it, but it was designed in 2015. And then more recently, Christopher Hotman just released his G36, I believe, which use another form of that method, or this method, as well. So I just wanted to kind of point out, I'm not copying anyone, guys, and they're not copying me. It's called parallel thinking. It is an actual thing. Look it up. It'll blow your mind. It'll make you look at the world in a completely different light. So yeah, we're just going to go through and kind of color up the receiver in the proper colors, just to kind of get it to look better, get it to look all good and everything like that. Brandon asked me a question. How does it work in terms of using or inserting and removing a magazine? Bren-10, cool weapon. Actually, I kind of like the Bren-10. I thought it was a cool idea, and I kind of wish that it came to market because I thought it would be kind of cool to own one, to be completely honest. Anywho, Brandon, I don't know if you're asking how the magazine release works or just how the magazine release works or how the mag works in general. If you're asking how the mag works in general, it's going to work like an ACR. I just got done explaining this, and I just kind of color the part, so I can't do it like I just did. Basically, this side over here, you push in. The way that the system is designed, it works like a standard AR-15 when you push in on this side. On this side, however, you push in on this, and because there's this pivot point right here, it cannot work like a standard AR-15 on this side. It is forced to pivot around this point, which acts as a lever, and then this portion of the magazine release comes out. It's kind of like Dean's ACR, if you want to think of it like that. We're going to actually remove that because it just looks better as a flat trigger, to be completely honest. In terms of trigger design and how this works, because as you can see, there's no exposed Technic on the side. The rubber band wraps through the fire selector bar right here, and then wraps just around the portion of this circle stud that you see. That's how that works. So yeah. Whew. How does it feel when the magazine is going through the bagwell because it is curved? Excellent question. I don't know. What I'm thinking is, even though the bottom of this magazine follows the edge of this magwell, I don't think I'm going to have the entire magazine go up like this at an angle. I think I'm only going to have the bottom part go up at an angle, and then the rest of it just be straight up and down. And that's essentially what I've designed it for, because this entire magwell is square still, and the bottom part of it's angled. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's going to feel like a normal magazine. For the most part, I'm thinking. So yeah. It did seem like a good pistol. I like the crossbolt safety and the option to have the mag partially drop or fully drop out. I believe it failed because of its bad magazines. The Bren-10 was an innovative firearm for its time. I'm not going to lie. I particularly like the Bren-10 because it just kind of... It felt like it was doing something that it was supposed to do. It felt good. It looked good. It had the tactical operations that it needed to have, everything like that. But it still failed because the market or whatever you want to say, the magazines, whatever you think it was, chances are that's probably what it was. It's unfortunate, but that's how the firearms market is. So, yeah. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to do the lower receiver and the lower receiver only. And I'm still not technically done. Like, I still have to do this portion going through here, which I can't do until I do the upper receiver of it, which I think I'm going to save for another day. Yeah, the magwell is just a box. Only the bottom of it flares out in that type of angle. So don't worry about that. Unica 6s are cool. Revolvers are cool in general. The problem is revolvers are very difficult to build out of Legos. I think I'm going to end the stream, but I'm going to end it a little bit differently from what I usually do. I think what I'm going to do is end it by asking you guys for the next 10 minutes until 12:02 my time. Ask me any questions that you have about the gun or anything else that I can reasonably answer, and I will answer it as I can. And then I'll end off the stream by making an announcement, and then I'll call it a night, and I will go enjoy my girlfriend for the rest of the night. Not in the way that you guys are thinking. I really need to stop saying things. So if you guys have any form of questions at all about this gun or anything else, feel free to ask them now. I will stay as long as need be to answer them. If it goes past 10 minutes, it's whatever. I don't have much of anything to do for the next few days because of the hurricane. Orange County Public Schools and Seminole County Public Schools and all sorts of other county public schools have decided to close schools for Thursday and Friday, which means I do not have to go in for after school care, which means I don't have a job to go to for the next 2 days. That also means that college is canceled, so I don't have to go to college for the next 2 days as well. So I'm stuck home for the next 2 days preparing for the hurricane. Perfect question, Alex. Am I prepared for the hurricane? Probably not. I believe we're spending most of the day tomorrow in preparation as it hits us, essentially, because it's going to probably make landfall sometime tomorrow. I'm honestly surprised that it hasn't rained over here just yet. It should eventually. I'll probably hear it tonight while sleeping as it hits. We are prepared for the most part. We spent $30,000 quite a while ago to get hurricane-proof windows in the house, so we don't have to worry about windows breaking for the most part. Most of the house is surrounded by trees, and trees are a catch-22. Trees are good because they break the wind around the home, so you don't have to worry about the winds being high when they hit the home. But at the same time, because they're a giant wind catch, they'll also might fall on the house as well. So we do have to watch out for that. I live on a lake, so we're going to have to be worrying about the waves and the wave height. We have a jet ski and the boat on the lift in the water. So the waves will probably be hitting them. We'll probably go try to drain them every once in a while in the storm, because if it fills up with too much water, we're going to have a problem that we don't need to deal with. In terms of food supplies and water supply, I would love to tell you guys that I am actually prepared for that, but I'm not. I didn't think about it. This is my first hurricane since moving back from Tennessee, because I did I am religious, by the way. I did move to Tennessee for a while, and I didn't have to worry about hurricanes up there for a very, very long time, for all of 2 years. So to come back and this is be the first hurricane, I have to get back into the swing of being prepared and different things like that. The good news is we have all the flashlights charged up, and we just bought batteries today, so we got a whole brand new pack of batteries. Um, I went to Walmart a while ago and bought a $10 package of 48 Pop Tarts. Um, to me, I feel like I was prepared for a hurricane because I can live off Pop Tarts for 3 days. I also have drinks in the back of my car. We have 3 cases of um, what's it called? Coca-Cola sitting in the utility room, so I should be fine with something to drink. I know it's not water and it's not the best of things to drink, but I can certainly survive off of it for the days that I need to survive off of it if it comes to that, because we pray that it's not that way. Um, I am not a denomination of Christian. I am just Christian. I believe Kenyatta is the same way. Oh, nope, Kenyatta's Methodist. Never mind. That's my fault. I just embarrassed myself in front of 7 people on stream. Okay. I got another question from James. Are you going to build any Halo weapons, or have you attempted some in the past? I my the okay. I quite enjoy Halo weapons because they look cool and they're different from the standard weapons that we see nowadays in video games, right? My general problem with Halo weapons is that I don't enjoy the Halo franchise as a whole. I've played the games before. I've played the first game, and I just recently played the fourth and the fifth game. I know I skipped quite a few in between that, and I know the storylines are some of the best in the world. I will not dispute that. They are by far some of the best in the world. However, I do not enjoy the straight up hip firing aspect of the games for the most part. I know Halo 5 they made a change, and even with that change, I still could not find myself getting into the games themselves. Same thing with CSGO, which is why I don't do very many CSGO guns. And the general point that I'm trying to make here is that if I feel invested into a game or a franchise, I will make more weapons from it. In particular, that's the reason I'm built a lot of Call of Duty weapons. I'm invested heavily into Call of Duty weapons. I'm super invested into Destiny, but Destiny weapons are some of the hardest to make, and I feel overshadowed by Nick Brick because Nick Brick's weapons are some of the best that you ever see in your life, and you just can't compete with Nick Brick stuff. So I like Nick Brick have the limelight when it comes to Halo weapons and Destiny weapons and Titanfall 2 weapons, and I'll stick to my basic type of stuff and whatnot. So we got time for a few questions. Bus just asked me, am I going to build any guns from Infinite Warfare? From what I've seen, in Google Hangouts, we've had a few people post images of concept art or whatever from Infinite Warfare. From what I've seen, I don't think I'm going to build anything from Infinite Warfare. They look, and I know this will probably upset someone in the comments later on. I know it won't upset any of you. They look retarded. They don't look like anything we will see in the future. For those of you who don't know, I like to study firearms. I like to study firearms designs and things like that. And the guns in Infinite Warfare look very horrible. My girlfriend does know I play with Legos. She's in chat right now. They don't look real, and because they don't look real, I don't feel good about it in terms of building weapons from it. I think the only weapon that I actually like, that I actually enjoy, that I think could possibly be a thing is the Vector that they have. It has 2 magazines in it, and I don't know the full details yet, but I know it shoots out of 1 magazine, and I think the other magazine is just on the weapon as a spare magazine, which could be done. Um, so it kind of it looks cool. I like the Vector, so I might build the Vector, but in terms of doing like every single gun from the series, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be kind of like my Black Ops 3 guns, where I do kind of the guns that I like the most, that I like enjoy the most. I've done most of my Black Ops 3 favorite guns. I've done the KN-44, which is the gun that I have the most kills with. I've done the Kuda, which is my starting SMG that I played with the most up until I unlocked a Razorback. After my first Prestige, I perma unlocked the Razorback, and the Razorback is my second most used gun in Black Ops 3. Um, can't think of my third gun. So yeah, it's whatever. Um, in terms of that answer, if I have to sum it up, I don't think I'm going to be building anything from Infinite Warfare. I think there's a lot on the plate in terms of weapon design that I can do, especially in terms of weapon design that makes sense, which is why I like this guy right here, Shockwave 9001. Most of his guns are based off of real concepts that we've seen before. This is obviously a vector concept. This looks like a Desert Tech MDR. Um, this looks like some form of Kel-Tec firearm pistol. We'll scroll through here. A machine pistol with the stock, a pump action shotgun, another kind of Kel-Tec looking weapon mixed over with a form of gun. This looks like a SIG MPX or a MPC, I think is what they call them. Let me kind of scroll through. All of these guns are cool and futuristic and awesome, but they have some basis of reality behind them. They have shell ejection ports. They don't go wild and wacky with their features and their attachments that they have on them. They're actually operator like in how they work, which is something that I can respect about that content creator in particular. So, something that I like about him, which is why kind of some of the. I understand that Black Ops 3 weapons aren't the most realistic weapons in the world either. However, they certainly look more realistic than some of the Infinite Warfare weapons do. Like that one gun that's a carbine, right? And then you can split it apart into dual wield pistols. You think that shit would fly in real life? Because I tell you now, it won't. It won't work. Um, that's some like Nerf modulus level bullshit right there. That does not work with real steel firearms that are miniature explosions in your hand that you only control based off of your barrel, uh, essentially. That won't work. So seeing stuff like that is kind of just one of those like, yeah, no, that it doesn't work like that. GG. Um, I hope you go like kill yourself. And I'll tell you right now, here's the reason it don't work. If I can find the image of it. Many of us know what the XM8 is. The XM8 was a concept assault rifle, but I bet you don't know where the XM8 assault rifle concept came from. I bet you don't know the history as well as I do. I just got to find the image. If I can't find the image, I'm going to go to the Military Arms channel who did a video on it and see if I can't find the image in his video. As I'm doing that, I'm going to explain the backstory to the XM8. The XM8 is, what am I typing? Military Arms Channel XM8 by Tommy Pill. We're going to then mute this because that was probably loud and I've probably blown out all of your eardrums by now. So this started life as a military concept to integrate the grenade launcher and kind of smart battle rifle system and assault rifle all into one single platform for a soldier to carry in the field. This is what the original XM8 looked like. This is what the XM8 was. This is what an actual hybrid weapon looks like in real life. This combines a grenade launcher with a 5.56 assault rifle. It's big, it's bulky, it's ugly as fuck. And I'll tell you right now, if I signed up for the military, I would not carry that shit into life, or into real life. So what they did is, because they realized what they were doing was dumb as fuck and looked retarded, they separated the XM8 into two parts. I'm sorry, Kenyana, I didn't mean to destroy your eardrums. They separated it into two parts, calling one the XM8 and then the other one the XM25, or XM28, whichever one it was. Like the numbers just kind of get mixed together and things like that. So, Mac, please don't sue me or take down my video for copyright infringement or anything like that for using your video. I'm giving you a shout out like right now. Please don't. I love your channels. Please no. Please no. I needed to find the image so I can show and make a point that hybrid weapons in real life are very ugly and will not work like Call of Duty anything. They don't look good. It's by far one of the ugliest things that I've ever. I don't want to take it off screen. I want this image to be burned into your retinas so that you have to forever live with knowing that this is the worst prototype rifles that you've ever seen in your entire life. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Anywho, so yeah, hybrid weapons in real life don't work. It's kind of why the whole like assault rifle, sniper rifle thing don't work in real life. The other thing is, right, sniper rifles use very big rounds with very long barrels. Very long barrels play into your accuracy and then increasing the velocity of that sniper rifle round because the pressures behind the cartridge pushing it out of the barrel increase over the amount of distance that it has to travel from. That distance also increases the amount of powder that gets burned, so the bullet travels even faster. So, if you want an assault rifle, sniper rifle hybrid, you'd have to have some form of barrel extension that would be unpractical, right? Your best bet of an assault rifle, sniper rifle hybrid is to be able to switch calibers on the fly and have a quick change barrel system, which is something that you just can't do at the flick of a button like most of video games portray it to be. You would have to unscrew a portion of the barrel. You'd have to unhinge a portion of the barrel. You'd have to do all sorts of other things in order to use it. And then you'd have to change the bolt that you're using. You'd have to change the magazine that you're using and everything like that. Brandon, in terms of your hybrid system, could it possibly work? Yes, actually. With yours, what I'm thinking is the end of your barrel would be threaded, kind of like a suppressor, essentially. Your bottom foregrip would have the other portion, the barrel extension, as you would call it, and it would flip out and kind of give you the extension, and you would just take the extension and thread it onto the end of your barrel, and then your flip out handguard is going to provide support for the extra length that you have now, so that you have accuracy as well. Because anytime you put anything on the end of your barrel, you're going to have a point of impact shift for some form of thing. Like anytime you put a suppressor on a gun, your barrel sags just a little bit. Your barrel might move just a little bit more, so it's sat, or it has a point of impact shift when you're shooting it. I.e., if you don't support it a correct way and not the wrong way, you'll end up ruining your accuracy out of that weapon in particular. So, can your hybrid system work? Probably, Brandon. I will tell you now that it will probably work. It will probably take a lot of work, however. It's probably not something that you can just, I'm going to screw this onto the end of the barrel, everything's going to be good after that. Awesome. It will probably require a lot of research and development into how to do it without screwing up. But it could probably be done. You never know. In the future, we might see a system where they do the very same thing. So, with that being said, if there is no more questions, I think I'll end the stream here. I will tell you guys now that I will probably be doing some form of video the next few days, even with the hurricane going on, because I'm not going to have anything else to do, to be completely honest. But that being said, don't expect something because obviously if the hurricane comes through and knocks out my power, I can't do anything to you guys in terms of videos. So, yeah. Can I use your flared mag design for my M8 RX3? Go for it, as long as you give credit, which I know you'll do. So you're fine with it. I don't mind anyone using my designs for anything, as long. Okay, Facebook. Oh, I thought you meant check Facebook. No, yeah, okay, yeah. As long as you give credit, you can use my designs as much as you please. It doesn't bother me. It's never bothered me. It's just been those one or two people that have never used credit and then claim that it's theirs when it's obviously someone else's that bothers me. So I know you won't, so you can go for it, mate. Yeah, had to say our text. Xbox maybe in the next 2 days. I don't know. Probably. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't turn my Xbox on anymore. I burned myself out on pretty much every game that I play, and I haven't found anything new and refreshing and fun to play. So I haven't turned it on in the past few days. So probably not. I'll probably just sit on YouTube and waste my life away watching videos on guns and things like that. As I slowly die. I'm choking on my own spit. Kind of awkward. That would have been kind of cool. You send me on drama alert. YouTube streamer dies today when he choked on his own spit. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for the questions, and thank you guys for coming into the stream and supporting me through looking at everything that we have here so far. It's coming together great. Thank you, Shockwave 9001, for making awesome concept designs. Thank you, Military Arms Channels, for not suing me for using your copyrighted images or videos inside my video. Brandon, in terms of contest, let's work out those details before we announce it. I'd rather have details for everyone. Everyone currently in chat, there will be some form of contest. I will promise you that. I just need to work out the details with Brandon so that we can talk about that in a full-fledged video at another date. I'm working on it because you know why you gotta yell at me so much. I don't understand. I was told by a certain someone that I need to start advertising more and getting out more. So I now have a Facebook and a Twitter to post videos and images and different things like that of the models that I do so that I can get more publicity and grow my channel faster as much as my other friends are. So if you go to my YouTube channel and check in my little box up here at the top, we'll get there. Don't worry, guys. We'll get there. Check up here in this little wonderful banner that I have right down here. There's a Twitter. There's a Google Plus account, which I ain't gonna use. And then I also got that Facebook. Click on that. Go Facebook. Right here. Check it out. Facebook. It helps. It's got all these images on it right now. It's got the L car on it. You guys want to see the L car? It's got the Locust with all its attachments on it. So go check that ish out. Twitter. It's up. It's happening. It's going on. It's also got the same images. And then uh-oh. I did not know that it was going to do this, though. But okay. Can I delete this? Because that would be helpful. I don't want this to kind of clutter up my Twitter. But okay. Whatevs. Yeah, I can post videos on Twitter now. So that's pretty cool. I can post that ish. So you guys can check those out. So go check all that out. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, or however that works, because I don't know. Because I don't know what Facebook and Twitter are. I barely use it, to be completely honest. I haven't used it since I made it, to be honest. So hopefully I use it more and more in the future. Thank you guys so much for going and following me. Thank you guys for supporting me through these rough times, because right now it is very, very difficult to be a Lego gun builder. There's a lot of competition going on in the field right now, and it's a very, very hard job. You guys would be surprised. Thank you guys for coming out and watching the stream. I've been streaming for a little under 2 hours now. I made a single lower receiver for a gun that doesn't even exist, with very few working features. Very standard working features, I should add. We will come back at another date and time to finish off doing the upper receiver and everything from Shockwave 9001's Marjory battle rifle right here. And we will continue on with I'm going to get banned from YouTube for this. I'm trying to show a picture of a gun, and a fucking ad pops up with that. Wow. I can't end the stream after that. I can't say goodbye. I'm just going to turn it off and wait for YouTube to send me my community guideline strike and take down my channel. Thank you, DeviantArt. I appreciate that.